Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hamilton Southeastern High School as we bring you the Indiana Boys Lacrosse Game of the Week, and it should be a good one. Two top 5 teams ready to do battle. It's the Eagles of Culver Academies, ranked number 2, and Hamilton Southeastern coming into tonight's contest, ranked number 3 in the state of Indiana. Tonight's championship matchup is being brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment, the leading farm equipment dealer since 1955. Boilermaker Local 374, representing highly skilled workers in field construction and metal fabrication in Indiana. Wheeler Mission, a pillar in the Indianapolis community for over 131 years. Bertner Electric, your trusted electrician partner since 1986. The Morales Group, in business to create a better future for you and your family. Piper Logistics, your trusted logistic partners since 1994. Aspen Creek Grill, the largest selection of great food made from scratch and very affordable. And the IndianaSRN sports page, daily sports coverage, border to border, coast to coast. Go to IndianaSRNsportspage.com. Great to have you with us. I say championship night, Chris, simply because you're talking about two teams that may be looking at each other when we get to that state championship in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's a fascinating matchup. Both of these teams, a lot at stake. Last regular season game, two teams that are capable of going far into the playoffs.
We also have two teams that have a similar opponent to them, and they both played Carmel. They both played Cathedral. The outcomes have been a little bit different. But this is a Culver team that ended up knocking off Carmel, and Carmel had beaten Hamilton Southeastern earlier as well.
Yeah, this Culver team is certainly capable of beating anyone in the state. It's a program, Northern Indiana, that's been very strong for a long time, won a number of state championships. Their coach, Patrick Johnson, played at Culver a long time ago. He's coached at the college level. I'm really interested to see what they look like on the field.
All right. From a standpoint, when you look at their numbers in their 11 games, they're 10-1 coming in. They've won 8 straight. Nobody really stands out that much. You got a couple of guys that are leading them in goals, 20-plus goals, but the bottom line is it seems like it's more by committee than it would be by any individual star.
Yeah, and you don't know if that's good or bad. That can be really scary for a team to be able to do that, to where multiple guys can score, multiple guys can assist. But, you know, late in the game, who's got the ball in their hands? That's the other question in a situation like that.
Yeah, keep an eye, number 50, Max Mulliken. Mulliken, 28 goals this season. He also has 7 assists. And on the other side, you look at a guy like number 4, which is, I believe, actually number 2, Dom Ferrari. He is a freshman who has 21 goals, but he also has 24 assists, good enough for 45 points, which leads the team in points this season. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back, talk more about Hamilton Southeastern coming up next right here on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
over the last 3 games for Culver. They beat Westfield at Westfield 9-3. Then they picked up that big win against Carmel. It went 4 overtimes, 6-5 the final there. Then they knocked off Guerin at Guerin 14-7. HSC, defending state champions. I know everybody looks at it, they say, boy, I tell you what, they've lost 4 games. They've lost some tough ones here. They ended up losing to Carmel 10-9. They rebounded good against Zionsville and Westfield. People say, what's wrong with this team? But, you may remember last year, as we mentioned off the air, they lose to Carmel in the regular season, come back and beat them in the state championship, and they're loaded again, and I think you're going to see that here tonight.
Well, and some of those losses were teams that were out of state. Those probably are some teams that are similar to the kind of school that Culver is. Maybe they're prep schools, maybe they're private schools, maybe lacrosse is, one of their top priorities. So, yeah, when I see those losses late in the season for Hamilton Southeastern, that doesn't scream to me that there's a problem so much as it screams to me that they're trying to play good competition.
Well, they're still led by Max Kemp. He has 56 goals this year and 35 assists. He's at 91 points, but you talk about David Gold and what a year he is having. 54 goals and 50 assists, 104 points. No doubt about it, he's having a great year as well.
Yeah, they got 2 guys that have scored over 50 goals. That doesn't hurt, when you're looking, again, late in the game for a guy to get a goal when you need it. The other thing about this Hamilton Southeastern team is it's an experienced group. It's an older team than this Culver team, so it'll be interesting to see if that factors late.
Well, the ever so important face-off to get things started here tonight. As we mentioned, big matchup. Culver's won their last 8 games, so they're on a roll right now, including that big win against Carmel. They ended up in that contest with 29 shots. That's pretty good against a good Carmel team. So we are underway. Face-off won by HSC. We are underway here in our game of the week. A flag already down here early as HSC, we talked about it before, they can go to about 3 different gears if they choose to do so. And once they set up here in the offensive zone, they can be very tough. So you really defensively have to have your head on a swivel to know who's coming where. And they'll be patient enough to kind of set you up as well. In goal tonight, Matas Latvies. He wears number 34 for Culver. Nice pass to the inside. Low shot. That's going to hit off the pipe. And a good start here for HSC as they got a shot immediately. Looked like it was number 33, Marcus Lux, who was there to get the first shot. And now the flag being enforced here as it will stay with HSC. Coming out of the lineup for Culver will be Davison Harris, a sophomore.
Yeah, you got the long stick already rotated in and out of the game. That's 15, Tyler Calio for Culver back in there.
And now you're looking at man up. Shot's going to be wide to the left. First shot of the night there by Kyle Jenkins. Jenkins having a good year as well at 35 goals and 17 assists.
And you see Hamilton Southeastern controlling the game offensively initially.
By the way, in the penalty, as that shot is going to be knocked away. Good job by Latvies. We'll head the other way. In the penalty box will be number 6, Jack Stanfest. So now, for the first time, Culver back into the offensive zone. Let's see what they'll do here.
Some great saves there to start for Culver.
Latvies coming into this one here tonight, a save percentage at .587.
Culver taking their time, get some substitutions in for this possession.
Again, from an offensive standpoint, keep an eye on number 50, which is Max Mulliken. He is an attack midi, and again, just a freshman. Jacob Chapman on the attack here. Check there by Dylan O'Rourke, one of the top defensive players you'll see in the state of Indiana. It's awful hard to get by him, and of course the senior's been playing a lot of lacrosse for HSC in his career.
Interesting setup here for Culver. They're almost in a line.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. Good save by Williams. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen that in any lacrosse game I've seen so far.
It's like a basketball out of bounds play.
Unable to get the clear as we got a lot of contact on the sideline. It's going to go over to HSE. Great job by Luke Williams, the senior.
And you see that he's not afraid to come out of that goal.
Well, and that can always be dangerous, too. If you get yourself out of there and the next thing you know, the ball ends up somewhere in the opponent's hand and you got a freebie, but it worked out well for HSE. We'll head the other way.
And you saw that with Culver, their willingness to try to be physical with that goalie right away when he was outside of his area.
So now HSE. Again, you see how they'll deliberately slow things down. That is Jenkins. Gold as a work it behind the cage at the X. Just underway here at HSC. The tournament right around the corner. We'll have the semifinals and the finals from here at Hamilton Southeastern. On the 27th. We're not that far away. Jenkins maneuvering between two defenders. That one knocked down. Great job by Latvies as that ball rolled right to the line.
And Hamilton Southeastern early on is getting what they want offensively. They're finding good shots in front of that goal. Culver's been bailed out by their last line.
Nate Sueda with the ball now for Culver. No score here early. I'm anticipating, I don't know about you, if you look at some of the numbers between these two teams and some of the games they have played, you look at that Carmel game for HSC, it was a 10-9 final, which I'm not surprised. There's a low shot, Williams another save. It just seems like these keepers really step up in a game like this.
Yeah, both keepers look good early.
Williams having to get away from Sueda. And you see right now Culver defending early on this one. They're not going to give HSC a chance to get down the field quickly the way they would like to, as that'll go against HSC, and now Culver on the attack. Good look there at Ferrari. Boy, the styles so far kind of similar, aren't they? If nothing's there, bring it back, set it up, get your line change going, get the right personnel in there.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference so far is that Hamilton Southeastern has been able to penetrate the defense a bit better.
Mulligan, number 50, is on this left side, so the Royals will have to keep a good eye on him. Here is Blake Manning. Manning will work it behind the cage, and once he gets it back, let's see what he'll do with it as he brings it back out again to Mulligan. Mulligan is going to get hounded all night long, whether it be Jack Fisher or somebody else for HSC.
See a little screen there.
And there's just not a whole lot of room to work against that HSC defense so far.
One thing I think I can see down there, too, is the youth for Culver is reflected in the size difference between the two teams. Culver's pretty small.
Yeah, they certainly are all pretty much freshmen and sophomores. Have a couple of seniors. That'll be a turnover. First one of the night for Culver. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Reynolds Farm Equipment, the leading farm equipment dealer in Indiana. If you'd like more information, give them a call, 317-849-0810. Back in the scoring zone once again. Good look here, David Gold. Right now, Cam Hodgkin has the enviable task of keeping an eye on David Gold here tonight. Coming up on the 5-minute mark of this opening period. I doubt very much you can see a lot of stoppage of the clock as well. Both teams really like keep the rhythm going. Here is O'Grady. It seems like, again, just from that side, you look at David Gold here to the near side, just not a whole lot of maneuvering to be able to get into a scoring position. Love to get it in the 8 meters or less if it's possible. There's the work at the X.
The reason that X is so dangerous, the goalie's got to turn around. He doesn't know all the time who's behind him.
So right, a turnover there by HSC as well. And you're right, and we talked about that earlier. You got to keep your head on a swivel, not only the keeper, but those defenders. Empty net and a long shot attempt there by Hodgkin, and he can't get it to go. But I tell you what, good look. I'm not sure Williams where he was at that stage.
Yeah, and that was your point a minute ago, that it's dangerous to leave that space.
So now Culver will set it up once again. They make their changes.
Yeah, you can tell by the way both teams start this game that they're both aware that every goal is going to matter in this game, and they're not they're not going to be in a hurry.
That is Chapman. Nice shot low. Williams, another save. It was Tommy Standfast who can't get it to go, and Williams playing well early. Here comes HSC. The double team and a lot of contact here on the near side as Mulliken came over and laid on a shoulder. Before we continue, we've got a timeout. 4:10 remaining, no score.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by the Morales Group, in business to create a better future for you, your family, and the community. Give them a call, 317-472-7600. After the timeout, still no score, 4:10 remaining here in the opening period of play. Good look at Henry Wands, and then he lost it and the stick as well. Second turnover for Hamilton Southeastern.
It's Will Zalewski with the check there that led to the possession for Culver.
So here come the Eagles back the other way, past midfield, ball loose, and we got a flag down. This may go against the Royals here. So the penalty again against HSC. Will have a line change both ways. What's amazing how, well, the last game we did with HSC, they ended up having to slow it down quite a bit. They haven't had as many opportunities to get down the field as we have seen them do in other games. But tonight, that has not been the case as well. They just can't seem to get going. But now Culver will set it up.
It's been a half-field game so far.
It has. Low shot. That's going to be Milliken once again as he can't get it to go. Nice save by Williams. Here's O'Rourke. O'Rourke has it checked from behind as the stick check knocks it out of his possession. It will stay with HSC, but then it goes out of bounds on the far side. Third turnover now by HSC. Might see another turnover here as that was displaced, and now let's see who's going to pick it up. 50-50 ball picked up there by Jacob Chapman. Chapman displaced as well, and he loses it. Second turnover by Culver.
Both teams having trouble holding on to it.
HSC, the bounce, and the shot is low. Stopped there again by Latvies. And now we have the whistle from behind. That came from the trailing official near the 50-yard line.
HSC gets another point-blank shot there that Latvies bails out Culver.
So it will be a 30-second penalty. So now HSC will be man up right here. Second time they've had power play opportunity. See if they take advantage of it this time. And then Culver will have to drop back in a zone. You don't think 30 seconds is very long, but it is when you're playing that zone for sure against a team like HSC. At the X. Nice pass to the outside. Winding and firing and scoring. HSC on the board first. A power play goal. That'll be Jake Cuxhausen getting the goal here for Hamilton Southeastern.
It's his 11th goal of the season. He's got 14 assists as well. That's a big one there for Cuxhausen to get Hamilton Southeastern on the board first.
Well, you take advantage of the opportunities that are given you, and that's exactly what they did right there. And really kind of started once they got David Gold behind the cage, and he was able to make that nice pass. So 1-0 your score. Culver gets the face-off. As we come up on 2 minutes remaining, Jeff Steadfast is the face-off specialist for Culver. There are 3 Steadfasts on the team, Tommy, Brady, and Jeff. All 3 are attack or middies as they'll set it up once again. Good look here near side, Blake Manning. Manning unable to find an opening as they'll work it right side. That'll be Brady Steadfast, and then he lost it. Third turnover by Culver. And then the ball goes out of play, and HSC will give it back, attempting to get down the field quickly.
We talked about those late season losses for HSC early in this game. You know, they're playing the second-ranked team in the state. They clearly look to be the aggressor early on. Yeah,
no doubt about it. As you get a good look here at Manning. Manning's been very active early here for Culver. Nowhere to go there for Tommy Scotto. Scotto, a sophomore attack. Now Sueda makes his move. A flag is down. That shot well wide to the right. So we got a slash penalty here. That'll be a 1 minute. And that'll go against 24, which is Dalton Fertig. Fertig, the junior defenseman. So now Culver will be man up right here with 56.2 remaining.
And you get the sense that they really need to make something happen here. Get some momentum, get some confidence going into that end of the first period.
It's probably not often they get shut out in the first quarter, and there it is. They come right back and get the shorthanded, or I should say the power play. Ferrari ends up getting the goal as Dom ties this game at 1 apiece.
One of the guys we talked about before the game, 21 goals going into tonight, and now he has 22.
So they take advantage of the power play opportunity, tying this game at 43.3 seconds remaining in the opening period of play. So now with the penalty off, we're at even strength here in the final seconds of this opening quarter. And eventually face-off won by Culver. They lead in that category 2-1, and they're quickly into the critical scoring area, and a whistle. And we may have a timeout here. We do. We'll take a timeout as well. We're tied at 1.
Hello and welcome to Game Day. My name is Keith Myers. I'm the Vice President of IndianaSRN. We're glad that you joined us today. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN. This means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Looking to elevate your brand? Choose Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for all your print, signs, promo products, apparel, and mailing services. Serving Indianapolis for over 50 years. Dynamark, where strong relationships are built through exceptional service.
Yeah, fair enough.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Boilermaker Local 374, representing highly skilled workers in field construction here in Indiana. You can count on Boilermaker Local 374 to do the job right the first time. 30.3 seconds remaining. Let's see how Culver will set this up now after they get the timeout.
Yeah, we were talking at the break. It was an interesting time for a timeout because Culver looked like they had a nice little opportunity offensively, but there is only 30 seconds left in the period. And, I would imagine like some other sports, you want to use as much of that clock as you can and then get a good look. Try not to give the ball back the rest of the period.
We've had 2 goals, both power play goals, as Culver able to take advantage of being a man up in the last goal to tie it. Now let's see what they'll do here. Jacob Chapman, actually number 17, which is Colton Freitas. There's a shot right side and the score. That's going to be number 7, which was Jacob Chapman. And they scored at 16.9 seconds remaining here in the first period of play.
Chapman's a sophomore. He's got 12 goals coming into tonight. That's his 13th on the season. And Culver, for as much as Hamilton Southeastern has looked dangerous on offense in this first period, Culver's sitting pretty at the end.
Well, that coming right after the timeout, so they must set that up. They must have seen something that they thought they could exploit right there. And another face-off won by Culver. That is their third. They lead that category now 3-1. They have 10 seconds and counting to try to get one more here. And that shot is good as well, 42. Cam Hodgson able to get the goal, and just like that, 3 in a row for Culver. And that one happened within 12 seconds of the last goal. Boy, they wasted no time. Cam Hodgson, the junior.
And you may be right that Culver's coach, Patrick Johnson, he may have seen something because this last minute, Culver's looked more dangerous on offense than they did the entire quarter.
Yeah, they've been very aggressive here over the last minute or so, and they keep winning the faceoffs. They'll get their number 4 as Jeff Standfast able to get another faceoff, and that's going to do it. What a finish in the opening period. We had to period number 2. Culver leads at 3-1.
We're not here to just sell you another piece of software. We're here to helping you procure the licensing, manage and monitor those licenses over time.
Collaboration is very key when working with our clients. We are very much a partnering organization. We definitely work as a team to deliver solutions for our customers.
We're here to build relationships with customers, which is unique.
Hi, I'm Grayson, and our parents work in road construction. Every day they head out to make our roads safer and better for you. But did you know work zone deaths have increased 63% since 2010?
Wow, that's a lot. Please slow down and pay attention when you see all those orange signs. When you do, you're helping to keep our parents and everyone who works on the roads safe. Thanks for looking out for us.
This message is brought to you by your friends at Highway Safety Services. Stay safe, stay alert.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Piper Logistics. For more than 2 decades, the trusted professionals in inventory management and transportation needs. Give them a call if you'd like more information. 317-396-1023. Chris, I'll tell you what, you could not have asked for any better of a finish to that opening period. Within 43 seconds, Culver ended up scoring 3 goals.
Yeah, and again, I felt like HSE really dominated the quarter, so Culver in really fortunate position after the period of lacrosse that we just watched.
By the way, Williams giving up 3 goals. His save percentage coming in at .653. 141 saves on the season, and he looked almost unstoppable in the first, let's see here, nearly 12 minutes of play. He had some great saves early. Face-off won by HSE as we switch sides, and now let's see if they can get right back. Low shot, stopped again by Latvies. HSC quickly getting it back, and that one will go wide to the left off the shot there by 34, Cody Lougheed.
And Latvies again, he's been such a crucial part of this game so far for Culver. He's had multiple saves that could have easily been goals for Hamilton Southeastern.
So HSC will continue to have it as we are underway here in period number 2. Kemp, the long shot straight away. It's going to be wide to the left. I think that's Kemp's first shot of the night, the senior. When he is on his game, he is almost unstoppable. Last time we were here, he missed several shots just by inches. But he's one of the hardest shooters you're going to see in the game of lacrosse at the high school level. So again, the Royals will set it up. Good look at Kemp. 2 top 5 teams doing battle here. They may see each other again in the tournament, as we have a lot of contact right there, and the ball is going to be turned over. 5 turnovers now by Hamilton Southeastern. They have numbers right here. Can they take advantage of it? As Culver unable to field that one clean, as Swada will bring it back outside and set it now for the Eagles.
Hodgson's had one of the goals late for Culver, but his errant pass there definitely prevented a good opportunity there.
Well, and Culver again, after scoring those 3 quick goals, it went from 43-3 to 16-9 to 4-9. Now they can set it up with a 3-1 lead. Good look here at Blake Manning. Manning generally gets this thing started for the Eagles, but again, good defense there by HSC. Steadfast. Now at the X, and of course, one-on-one defense there, and a good check. Ball displaced, and it'll be HSC, the triple team. And then coming back, missing wide left, is Brady Standfast. Each team charged with a turnover there. Unfortunately, HSC got the ball for the moment, and then it was displaced. You had 3 maroon jerseys around. The one player trying to get it out of there.
Last shot for Culver goes just to the left.
Nice spin to the near side is Scotto as he loses it. Again, ball displaced, and that's Dylan O'Rourke able to come away with it. 5th turnover now by Culver.
That was a good find in the corner. Throws it all the way across the field.
And here come the Royals. This is more of the speed they like, and again, I know they're going to slow it up here, but generally, if you watch them, again, they have 3 different speeds. Coach will talk a lot about that. They can play at any speed very well, as that ball is going to be displaced as well. Turnover. Kemp was making his move back to the right into the inside, and unfortunately, the stick check knocks the ball away, and we'll go back over now to the Eagles.
It's Nate Cooper for Culver. It was a great play.
Culver quickly into scoring position as they slow it down once again as we come up on the 8-minute mark here of the second period. Ferrari trying to find room, nothing there. This is Freitas will back it up as he takes a look toward the sidelines to make a change as Tommy Standfast is back in. He'll receive. And now Culver just slows it down once again. And they've really spread the field here. You talk about 3 out near the 40-yard line. Now they'll make their move. This is Freitas, gets the high screen there from Standfast. The pass a little bit too high intended there for Mulliken, and a turnover for Culver. Unofficially number 6 now on the night for Culver. Here's O'Rourke. Takes a hard hit as HSC once again in the critical scoring area. Opportunity here. Nice move to the inside. Flag is down. In fact, that flag went right into the goal. I'm sure that Lotby's like, what's this all about here?
Well, something got by him tonight.
Something got by him, yep. So now HSC chance to pull to within one right here. David Gold turns, fires, and just misses. That wasn't off by much.
So far, Hamilton Southeastern's been shooting low, and Latvia seems to be handling that pretty well. Be interesting to see if that changes a little bit as the game goes on.
Heading to the penalty area is Cam Hodgson. So now HSC will be man up right here. That ball squirts loose, and picking it up deep in the corner was Jack Stewart. And then he'll give it right back now to the Royals.
Stewart, also a freshman. He's one of the exceptions out there. He's a big-looking kid for a freshman.
Yeah, and he almost had control of that. There's a shot, and that was point-blank range there for Marcus Lux.
This is 36th of the year. That was a great pass.
You'll get another look at it right here. That is the third power play goal we have seen tonight. That comes at 6:48. It's now 3-2.
See Latvia's agony as he realizes the ball is going by him into the goal.
Well, you kind of get an idea as you see again when you have to play that zone and you got to cover one extra player. It's not an easy thing to do, and we've seen both teams take full advantage of it. But both are power play goals now by HSC, and another face-off one. Now 4-3 in that category, Culver. And they're going to work quickly once again. Nice pass to the inside, but then picked off there by Latvia's.
Latvia's nice little pass, outlet pass there to Stewart.
Boy, if he doesn't get it, you had a player on the near side for HSC that very well could have taken that one in and scored.
Yep.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for print, signs, and mailing services in Indianapolis for over 50 years. Give them a call, 317-328-2555. Coming up on 6 minutes remaining, and what we have seen is pretty typical of the Eagles. They'll slow it down. That is Blake Manning on the near side. He, along with Tommy Scotto out front. Gage Smith, the senior, has now entered the lineup as well.
Get the sense that Culver's content with a 3-2 lead right now. They're not in any hurry.
No, they really haven't had much of an opportunity to get running at any time, as that HSE defense has played very well. Pass to the inside, an errant pass, but picked up. Good look at number 9, Sueda. They're coming up on nearly a minute holding on to this one as Sueda
gets a little
from behind the X, fires, and that might have been a pipe shot right there, the way that thing came off.
It wasn't might, it definitely did.
Usually you can hear it up here, but that time we didn't hear anything as Williams just a little bit off the mark.
It.
Neither team so far has put up a ton of shots here in the first half as we made it under 5 minutes. As Culver trying to work it back inside once again. Blake Manning. Manning shoots high, misses as that one goes off the side of the net in a battle for the first one to get to the loose ball. And it looks like it'll stay with Culver. They'll give Sueda the possession here.
That's a good hustle by Manning. He's the one who took that shot, also the one who chased down the play.
Now that is Manning, very deliberate behind the cage here. Let's see what they'll work. Then you see the Culver players, most of them are outside the 12-meter area. And now they work it back to the inside. It's a good look here at Manning. Chapman fires and scores. Chapman on the board for the second time tonight for Culver.
Number 13 and number 14 on the season.
We will get another look at it. Watch this, and that's all left-hand wrist shot right there. So that comes at 4-16. Culver now leads this one 4-2. I'm not sure Williams even really saw where that, in fact, if you look at Williams right here, generally very good reaction time. He thought that ball was a little bit lower once you saw that up close. Face off.
Nice job there by Nick Weber. Kicks it to himself.
That might have been the longest face-off we've seen in a long time, but picked up by HSC. Ball displaced at midfield as Culver trying to force another turnover. Well, you get those 50-50 balls like that, and everybody's scrambling for it, and it will go over to Culver.
It's like youth soccer.
Well, and when you look at a game, again, there is no shot clock in high school, so every possession can be very valuable. Timeout, 3:38 remaining. Culver leads it 4-2.
Aspen Creek Grill, we are a from-scratch concept with comfort-correct food. You can expect a world-class experience. We've got incredible specials, great service. Everything that we do here is made from scratch. We hand-cut all our steaks in-house. Bring your family. Come have some great food.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you can be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Officially Human. Their mission is to restore respect to game officials. So do your part and practice good sportsmanship. If we don't have officials, we can't play. 4-2 here as we close things out closely here. About 3:38 remaining in this first half of play. Culver making the difference with those 3 goals within 43.3 seconds of the closing half of that first period, but then HSC coming back with a goal to make it 3-2, their second power play goal of the night. Chapman coming back with number 2. And after the timeout, it'll be Culver. That is Tommy Standfast working up the sideline, avoiding going out of bounds, but they're going to call that against Culver. So HSC under 3.5 remaining. See if they can make this a 4-3 contest.
Got a quiet second quarter. They did get a goal, but I felt like the best chances that they've gotten in this game were in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter.
Well, and we haven't seen Gold and Kemp, their 2 leading scorers. Kemp has had a couple of looks, as has David Gold, but they're still waiting for those 2 guys to get unleashed here tonight. A lot of focus on them defensively. Jenkins wide left. Jenkins very good one-on-one player. So once again, Hatfield settled here for HSC. 2.5 minutes remaining. Can they get a good look again? That shot's going to be picked out of the air. Good job again by Latvies. He's been very impressive tonight. And then Culver turns it over. That'll be their 9th turnover of the season, or I should say of the game. If it was of the season, they'd love that. Good look there at Kyle Jenkins as he'll work behind the cage. What move will he make? Everybody is, you see them spread out front here for HSC. Here's Kemp. Kemp's been known to shoot it that far too, so you know Culver is going to keep an eye on him, especially number 11, Jack Stewart. That is Kemp. The shot and in the air again, picked up by Latvies. We've seen him do that a couple of times tonight.
He makes it look easy back there.
Doesn't he? He's got a bigger net than everybody else. We head the other way. Culver inside the 8-meter, and did it go in? It did. John Collins Williams, I believe, number 43, went the distance and scored.
That long stick.
Well, nobody picked him up. Watch, if it's depending on where we see the replay here. He literally went from sideline to sideline and then ended up going all the way in from the time he got it and then scored, and it's now 5-2.
He is listed as a defender. Good to see those defenders get up into the offensive end and make something happen.
So the face-off won by HSC. They now lead in that category 5-4. So Culver has now scored the last two to take a 3-goal lead. This big possession here as we're under a minute remaining now for the Royals. Boy, the way that Culver has finished out the first quarter, now strong finish here in the second quarter.
Yeah, that's the difference in the game so far, is just Culver's done a better job of finishing their opportunities.
HSC clock down to 30. Ball lost for just a moment, then picked up. And we have a timeout. HSC is going to get a timeout right here with 26.5 remaining in the first half. They trail it by 3. Big play here for Mount Vernon. Ertl looking right, now over the middle, fires, and it's in there for a touchdown. What a throw. Boy, what a stick, huh? Side out, back to the middle, and guess what? You want a point on the other side, you go to Taylor Lewis.
Here's Freeman. Has an opening shot. Score!
Stafford around a screen. Skip pass. Mays with 3. Mays drive. Floater up and in at the horn.
Hand off, and nice hole over the near side. 40, 35, 30. Block to the outside. 20, 15, 10, 5, and touchdown. And that's a big one right there. And finally, somebody gets on the board. Back here at Hamilton Southeastern, our game of the week. Culver leading at 5-2. They're ranked number 2 in the state of Indiana. HSC is ranked number 3. That may change with, of course, Carmel losing to Culver earlier. So those may change here in the next week or so, but it's going to be interesting. I think what you see at the top 3, top 4 are going to be very evenly matched once we get to the tournament. That's Kemp, wide left. Kemp had a point-blank shot right there and couldn't get it. We talked about him being a little bit off the last time we had a chance to do one of their games. He ended up getting a goal late, but still not quite where they want him to be, as Latvies gets another save, and we'll head the other way, and Culver is going to be just happy here to run out the first half clock. Culver impressive. They fell behind early 1-0, but they came back with 3 unassisted goals, and I think I'm more impressed with Matas Latvies, just the way he has played in goal here tonight.
Definitely one of the stories of the first half. Really impressive. Doesn't seem, we've talked about him even off air. I mean, just doesn't seem to be fazed by very much.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Catching several on the shots in the air, but we'll take a timeout. You see him right there. Good reaction time for Latvies, and so far it is Culver on top of this one, 5-2.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Bertner Electric Incorporated provides professional commercial electrical contractor services to Indianapolis and surrounding communities. Locally owned and operated for over 30 years, our knowledge and experience make us the perfect choice for all your commercial electrical contractor needs. Contact us today.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you
don't. We're back once again. Take a look at Culver Academy as they lead it here 5-2. We talked a little bit about Latvia's and his ability to get the key stops here in the first half. But you look at the other side, HSE's got to get David Gold going. They got to get Max Kemp going. Neither one of them has been able to score tonight. They've had some shots on goal, but they just can't seem to get untracked. And those two guys, to me, got to be the big key in the second half.
Yeah, that second quarter, their offense was really quiet. They didn't seem to get very many chances, and that felt like a strong and significant difference from the first quarter.
Cuxhausen got the goal at 2:24. There's a power play goal, and then Lux got his goal, another power play goal. So, again, they got to find a way to get goals outside the two power plays they have had so far, and then don't let Culver go on any type of a run. We had a 3-goal run, and then they had the 2 goals to end out to the first half as well. From a face-off standpoint, HSC on top of that one, 5-4. These numbers are unofficial, and turnovers each team with 9 turnovers in the first half of play. We will come back. Second half action is right around the corner here from Hamilton Southeastern. Culver leads it 5-2.
Brian Chrisman joins me today. And Brian, talk a little bit about the winter and Wheeler Mission and how important it is for people to help Wheeler Mission, because winter means homeless and homeless means people in the cold. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we really serve a lot of people year round, no matter what the weather is, right? And so we serve anywhere from 700 to 900 people who are experiencing homelessness every single night. But when winter hits, that can become life or death. So if you're stuck out in the cold, happens every year. IMPD will find people out in the cold and encourage them to come in. But if they don't catch them in time, I mean, again, life and death. And so it's vital that our doors are open. And so we do that. Our staff shows up every day to make sure our doors are open. We serve 1,000 meals a day plus every single day. That's a nice, warm, nutritious meal. Donors provide that. Donors provide our food, coffee, something hot to drink. You know, donors provide that. So there's a lot of opportunities to get involved at Wheeler to make sure we can get through winter, or to work at Wheeler. We need staff, and so we're always looking for staff to get us through the winter time. We spread ourselves thin during winter, making sure that anybody can find space, and so we have bed capacities. For sure, but we go beyond that every winter to make sure that the city has an option for people who are experiencing homelessness in the dead of winter.
Schools out there that are watching this program with our reach, maybe they want to do a sock drive, or they want to do a sweatshirt drive. They can contact our office at IndianaSRN, or they can contact you. Where's a contact, or who would be a contact that maybe we want to do a sock drive? I think that would be a great idea for SRN to start one of those sock drives. How would that? What does that look like?
Yeah, so if you go to wheelermission.org, we have our needs lists that are right there on our website. Those change sometimes in the winter, but there are some needs that are pretty much continual when it comes to hygiene items, when it comes to warm items to get us through the winter. So when you're talking about coats, especially bigger sizes for people that come through, we want to make sure a lot of people that come to our mission, they come with the clothes on their back, right? And so we need to make sure they have something to wear during their stay with us, and which could be for a few weeks, could be for a couple months. And so go to our website, wheelermission.org. You can donate directly there, whether it's a financial donation or you can look at our needs list. You can even find drop-off locations. You can drop it off at some of the barns that we have around the city, or come right down to Wheeler Mission, drop it off right there. But we need this community's support. So greatest thing about Indianapolis is it is a generous community.
Yes.
It is a community that steps up when there's a need. And there's 1,700 homeless individuals in our community. That number has risen 5% just over the last year. Wheeler Mission is the main place for those individuals to go, has been since 1893, over 130 years. And so support that ministry so that those doors can be open, making sure that every man, woman, and child that needs to come inside can come inside and not only get warm, but get nutritious meals, food, shelter, and care. And so beyond that, we take them through a whole journey of program to make sure that they come out our back door different people. But the first things first, right? Get them fed and get them warm and get them safe.
Since it's basketball season and we cover over 300 games a year on IndianaSRN, we challenge our basketball teams and our basketball programs to get involved. There are meals that need to be served. Tell our teams out there how they can help and serve meals.
Yeah, no better way to really open your eyes to the community's needs than to stand in front of people who are desperately in need and hand them a meal, hand them what they're asking for that day. So great group opportunity is to volunteer at Wheeler Mission. You can go to wheelervolunteer.org. You can sign up a group. It can take an hour and a half to come down and serve a lunch. You can get 12, 15 people involved in that, a dinner. Come down either at our men's shelter or our women's shelter. It's a really cool experience for teams, not only to help in a way that you're making a difference, but to see the people that you're helping, right? To hand a meal to someone and smile and say hi to someone literally in their darkest moment, right? So
best assist they can ever make.
Oh yeah,
is to serve a meal.
That's a good point. It's a slam dunk.
It's a slam dunk, yeah. Exactly. For IndianaSRN, this is Keith Myers.
Welcome back once again to Hamilton Southeastern. We're at halftime. 5-2 is your score. Let's look ahead now to the second half. We talked a little bit about David Gold and Max Kemp, the two leading scorers for HSC. The one thing we really haven't seen them do tonight that we've seen them do so much is when they get a face-off and their ability to get quickly into a critical scoring area in that offensive zone fast. And they haven't been able to do that tonight. Everything has been pretty much in the half-field offense. And I think if they're going to get a win tonight, if they can get some of those easy, quick goals, I shouldn't say easy, but quick goals, they can get right back in this thing.
Yeah, and one of the indications, we talked before the game about Culver's balance, and is that balance a strength or a weakness? Of course, it's probably both. But for HSC, to depend so heavily on particular players, if you play another team that's kind of at your level, a lot of times they're going to have a great plan to shut those players down, and then it's a matter of, okay, but who else do we have? And so far it's been Culver who has the better answer to that question.
Well, in the HSC, if you take out Gold and you take out Kemp, you still have guys like Wands and you have guys like Jenkins, and we talk about Laux is three guys that you really can count on that can step up for you. We've seen Lux get his goal as well, but those are the guys that need to step up for you as well. And so if you can't get the frontliners going, they'll need those guys as well.
Yeah, and at some point, you gotta be able to give credit where it's due as well. There's obviously some really good defense being played out there, and as we talked about, especially from the goalkeeping position.
Ready for the second half. Both teams making their adjustments. We saw the HSC coaching staff meet for quite a long time. I would imagine offense was something they talked about like we've been talking about here in the last couple of minutes or so, how they're going to generate some more offense. And that'll be a big key for them here in the second half. I like the way that Williams got started tonight. He was stopping everything that Culver was throwing at him, and then when Ferrari got that power play goal, it just seemed like it kind of went down a little bit for him. And the last goal they got, the John Collins Williams goal, when he went basically coast to coast and ended up scoring, I think maybe the defensemen were not in place the way you need them to be to make sure it wasn't a one-on-one situation between the offensive player and Williams.
And we haven't seen a lot of that, back and forth running style of lacrosse in that first half. But that was one of the exceptions to the way that first half was played. It was mostly a first half game, with the exception really of that particular play.
All right, here we go. Ready to go in the third. We'll switch sides yet one more time, and the face-off again. HSC has won 5 of the 9 so far here tonight. They'd fallen down in that category early, but made up for it rather quickly. And this time it'll be won by Culver. And then they turn it over. Stick check from behind. Nope. I thought it was going to be displaced there for a moment, but it was not. Culver now with 10 turnovers here tonight. See how HSC will play this. Ball is going to be displaced once again here near the sideline. And it will stay as Dylan O'Rourke able to pick that one up. And they call that against HSC. So that'll be a turnover there, number 10. And now Culver works it. This has been very deliberate in their offense pretty much all night long.
And they have no reason to be – they didn't have much reason to be in a hurry in the first half. They certainly don't in the second, at least at this stage.
Yeah, they generally have always brought that ball out near the 45 and then attack from there. As you see, Tommy Standfast started to make his move. Here is number 50, Mulligan, trying to dodge those 2 defenders. And they do a nice job of keeping him in front of them.
In soccer, they do the thing where they just dribble it in the corner. I suspect we're going to see the lacrosse version of that a little bit in this half.
Freitas unable to get the shot. Will head the other way. Good look here at Dylan O'Rourke. Here's David Gold trying to locate the ball. He got checked right there. It comes loose. Turnover HSC.
Doesn't work out, but HSC did just show something they didn't show a lot in that first half, which was a bit of urgency in the attack, and maybe that will be one of the adjustments that they try to make in the second half.
Tommy Standfast had to outrun 2 Royal players to midfield. And they'll set it up once again. 2 minutes in here in the third. Tommy Standfast will come out of the lineup. Tommy Scotto in the lineup.
It's Jacob Chapman with it again. No hurry. Over to his teammate, Nate Sweda.
I think they'd be very happy just to make it a 5-2 game, wouldn't they?
Bore the rest of us for the next hour.
By the way, if those of you that are watching don't know, my broadcast partner is a Culver grad. So's our producer. When's the last time that's happened?
and purely coincidental, we should admit. But yes, it was a different lacrosse program at that time when I was in school there. It's a much stronger program now than it was then.
Ball goes back over now to Culver. And once again, they'll set it up. This is Chapman. You know, they can eat a lot of clock when you play this style here, and you have a 3-goal lead. Though we've got a lot of time to play here. You're talking about 20 minutes. You can get eaten up pretty quick. Ball comes loose, displaced, turnover. Picking it up is Jenkins. Seen a lot of turnovers by both these teams, and you see HSE in scoring position, firing long and scoring.
Marcus Laux right there. His 37th of the season. Got his 36th earlier today. And again, there you see really a aggressive defense that led to the transition offense, and Hamilton Southeastern wasted no time in getting a dangerous look at the goal, which this time it finally got by Latvies, who's been such a problem for Hamilton Southeastern in this game.
So Marcus, his second goal of the night. Face-off won here by HSC. Ball almost displaced.
Yeah, you do see some urgency now in some pep in the step for HSE.
Yeah, their energy was a little bit low there in that second quarter. Nice pass to the inside and the shot, and they come right back. That's going to be Nate Sueda.
That's a Culver goal by number 9, Nate Sueda.
Sueda wasting no time getting a really good look.
And that is the risk of upping your aggression too, right? Is one mistake, all of a sudden they're scoring at the other end.
Well, that came 33 seconds after HSC had scored. Boy, and so many times you see one team score, the other one comes right back, and you just feel like you're fighting an uphill battle. And it takes the wind out of your sails a little bit.
Yeah, you're trying to snag some momentum, and just gets crushed.
So it will go to the Royals, trailing it now by 3.
I should say, you mentioned my my alma mater. I did speak very briefly, connected with Patrick Johnson for Culver this week, their head coach, and he had so much respect for this HSE program. He basically said the last 5 years in Indiana lacrosse has all been about HSE.
Yeah, they have been pretty dominant, and you can see why, because there's a shot by number 8, Max Kemp, a little bit wide to the right, but you look at their youth program, and they do it right. Start them very young, and they know the system. Nice move to the inside, and the dodge, and Jenkins scores.
Little juke, little shake. Here's a good look at it again. Starts behind the goal, cuts in, finishes with the left. Again, we talked earlier in the game about how that X spot is so dangerous because you can attack from there, but also you can have teammates cutting behind the goalie that they can't see. That time he takes it himself.
6-4 Culver, face-off won by HSC, so back on offense again. You feel perhaps momentum headed their way as they'll try to get another one right here to make it a 1-goal difference.
Yeah, we've seen some action here in the first 3 minutes of the second half. I have a feeling we've got a long way to go.
I feel like you do a little bit here where HSE, their energy level has picked up quite a bit.
And a lot of time, that starts with a necessity, right? It's just an awareness that you're losing the game, but then all of a sudden you score a goal, you get a stop, and then you start to feel like, okay, we need to press things a little bit.
HSC again can work behind the cage here. See Jenkins kind of hanging around right in front of the goal area. There is Kemp. He got checked hard, turned over. He had a double team there. 13 turnovers now by HSC, and quickly the other way. He is Culver.
That's Hodgson. He scored a goal earlier in the game with that long stick.
And both teams making changes as well as we're under 6 minutes remaining here in the third.
And on the other hand, the opposite of what we just talked about with HSE can happen when you are in this kind of time-wasting mode. You kind of get a little bit passive and the muscles get tight, and then all of a sudden you have to sprint down to the other end and play defense. You're not quite ready for it.
Culver will set it up here to Colton Freitas. Low pass, Sueda able to scoop it up off the turf. And they move it left to right extremely well. Gage Smith. Check there by Dylan O'Rourke. Nice dodge back to the right and then to the left. The pass high to the inside. Boy, I tell you what, they had 2 players there, and Freitas able to pick that one up. That would have been a turnover.
Yeah, I don't think Culver expected that pass. Thought he was going to back it out, and then all of a sudden he whipped it across the middle. And over I heard from one of my lacrosse people this week. What you would call a cross in soccer is called an over.
Culver works it out front now to Gage Smith. There's a left-hand shot knocked down. Freitas had a really good look. Ball comes loose, and it will stay with HSE. See if they can close it to within one here. Boy, big-time check right there by Mulliken. And a turnover, HSE. Mulliken has been quiet so far tonight. He is their leading scorer, but so far has been held in check. Scoto out front. Here they come as you saw Smith get rid of it just in time. This is Manning. Good defense there by Vince Putnam, who's checked into the lineup. Here's Gage Smith once again. Smith tried to go behind the cage. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, so HSE touched it last. It'll stay here with Culver. Ferrari, the pass to the inside. Ball comes loose, picked up, and a loose ball. Again, Manning just to the right place, right time. Mulliken looking for an opening. To the inside, sidearm shot is going to be missed, and it'll be HSE. Great hustle there by Williams.
You sense a little bit of crowd involvement here in the third quarter. HSE's trying to get that team going.
HSE past midfield. Let's see how they'll set it up here. This is going to be Dylan O'Rourke. David Gold has been quiet tonight. We mentioned he along with Max Kemp.
He is getting a really steady diet of Cam Hodgson defending him.
The high pick, and then it'll be Jenkins looking to get back to the inside. Actually, Jenkins here near side. Fires and knocked away again by Latvies. Ball comes loose, and it'll be HSE ball.
He got, that was a true stick save. It wasn't the net. It was literally the stick that stopped the ball there.
Yeah, Latvies checking his stick out. You mentioned that.
Yep.
Nice move to the inside. Shot wide again. Well, Jenkins had another really good look. 2 minutes remaining here in the third. Big possession here for HSE. That's David Gold. Oh. Ball displaced, but picked up very quickly that time by Ben Speckman, a freshman.
You saw Hodgson's commitment to staying with Gold there. He thought for a moment about chasing that loose ball, and he thought otherwise pretty quickly.
Boy, Speckman went down, and once he went down, the turnover, but they're going to give it right back to HSE. Got a flag down near midfield as well.
Looks like Hodgson's a little shaken up there. Or maybe he's just a little tired.
The 30-second penalty on Jack Standfast. So chance here for HSE as they'll be one up now with 1:36 remaining. So far tonight, HSE has a couple of power play goals. They'll work it behind the X. Here's Jenkins. And then the low shot by O'Rourke. That one ricochets high in the air and goes out of play in the end line. We'd love to get one right here for your HSE. Penalty's going to be winding down pretty quick. Pass going out of play, and it will be a turnover as Max Kemp unable to get to it in time. Unless they reverse the call here, and I think they will. We'll stay with 14 turnovers now for HSC. This is Jenkins. Coming up on a minute remaining. Another high pass. This time it does go out of play. It will be a turnover. Second time we've seen the ball go over the head of Max Kemp. And that is one area where HSC will have to really shore up in the last period of play. That is Harris. Took a hard shot by O'Rourke. Able to get back up on his feet. Boy, how about Harris, huh?
Yeah, showed you what kind of athlete he is, that's for sure. Doesn't lose the ball, hops right back up, finds some open space.
He comes out of the lineup. Ferrari loses it. That ball displaced once again. A whistle stops play.
We've seen the physicality pick up here with the pace of the game.
I have a feeling we get into that fourth quarter, maybe even more.
Now, if you're Culver, I would imagine you want to take most of this clock and then you want to get one really good look.
Chapman, left-hand shot, no. Behind the cage, the pass out front, stolen away. Pass a little bit too high. Not enough time unless you can make a pass like that, but they turn it over. Quickly shot the distance, and Hodgson can't get it to go. That's going to do it for the third period of play. We head to the fourth. Culver leads at 6-4.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt. Insulting referees.
Threatening officials.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes.
Violent language in the stands.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot. It's not a game.
You want a piece of equipment you can trust, one that's easy to use. No matter the size of the job, you want to create a feeling worthwhile, something you can use for every job. For over 60 years, Reynolds has been a community staple, ensuring our customers powerful implements and top quality care and service. You need something that's in it for the long haul. Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer, today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Back here at Hamilton Southeastern, tonight's game brought to you in part by Family Source Insurance. Pat Cherry represents Ohio Mutual Insurance. If you'd like more information, give him a call, 317-894-7000. Don't forget the IndianaSRN sports page tomorrow morning. Of course, NBA coverage, Major League Baseball, and all the scores as well on the sports page. All right, fourth quarter, 12 minutes remaining. We were talking off the air how in the first period we saw scoring in a very short manner, 4 goals within 2.5 minutes. We saw the same thing, though it took us a while. It was, I should say, a while from the 7:19. We didn't see any scoring after that, but 3 quick goals. What do you expect here in the last period of play? And it's only a 2-goal lead right now for Culver.
Well, I think we'll see some frantic lacrosse at some point in this period, and I'll also say this is really what we expected. I mean, we didn't know if it would be 6-4 or 16-14, but we expected to be going into this fourth quarter with the outcome very much still in doubt.
Face-off won by HSC, possession in the period, and they shoot and score just like that. Number 16, Nick Weber.
And you can't start any better a period like this than HSC just did. Win the face-off, run down the field and score.
Boy,
11 seconds.
That was a long shot, too. 11:53. So all of a sudden, 6-5. There you see the keeper. He never even saw that one, did he? So the closest we have been since a 1-1 score early in this one. Culver has always been able to come back and come away with a score as well, as the penalty will go against Culver. It will be Hamilton Southeastern. See if they can get 2 in a row here to tie this thing up.
And they're going to trust Williams with it. Ooh, dangerous.
Well, as we heard about high risk, high reward, and there's going to be a timeout immediately by HSE. We'll take a timeout as well. 11:30 to go in the fourth. 6-5 Culver.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
But like pretty mild.
Back here at HSE, we were just telling Chris off the air he likes fall.
Yeah, it's great weather today. It's not the fall, but it feels a little bit like fall. We had some rain earlier today, and yeah, we had blue sky by the time the game was starting.
We had well over an inch of rain from yesterday overnight. Quickly into scoring position, and ball's got to be ricocheted back to midfield. It'll stay here with HSE. Now that's what we're kind of used to, seeing Hamilton Southeastern quickly get into scoring position and get a shot off. Going to work it again at the X, and there's another save. Able to get it back and score off the rebound. Marcus did it again.
We talked earlier in the game about how Hamilton Southeastern is the more experienced team, and that's something that Culver's coach said too, that this is a team that's been in all the big spots. They know they're not going to be phased by the moment. So here we are at 6-6. Hamilton Southeastern's been trailing in this game since the first quarter, and now we're tied with 11 minutes to go.
So now Marcus has the hat trick tonight. That came at 11:05, just 48 seconds after the Weber goal at 11:53. And for the second time, as you see, the
first one off the helmet.
Yep, didn't rebound in time there, did he? Great play.
Second one right over his head. He's on his knees at that point.
Face-off won by Culver. That's their 7th of the night. HSE leads that category 9-7. Long shot on the bounce as Hodgkin tried to get that one going.
That was a good job by O'Rourke to win that ball.
Ball comes loose. That'll be a turnover for HSE.
Ooh, good look there, too.
Able to scoop that one is Ferrari. And guess what? He loses it. Intensity picking up both ways. 14th turnover by Culver. And now the Royals in scoring position again. First time we've been tied since the 45, or should say 43.3 mark of the first period. You got to be encouraged if you're HSE. You're able to do this, and yet you still haven't seen Gold or Max Kemp score tonight. HSE holding on. They're looking for another one right here to take the lead. This would be their first lead other than the first shot of the ball game. That goes wide to the right.
Just missed that. He certainly had the goalie beat.
Rose working behind the cage once again. Let's see what maneuver they can do here to get themselves into scoring position. This is Kemp. You love the patience here as well, as that pass way to the outside, long shot.
This is a little bit more of the way the game started.
Yeah.
Some good looks for Hamilton Southeastern. Culver playing a lot of defense. The second and third quarters were kind of the opposite of that.
The last shot was Henry Wands, who went deep. This will be Jenkins trying to make his move against Callio. Jenkins, left-hand shot, knocked down. Good save by Latvies.
I thought that went in at first.
I did too. Well, you saw the goal
ball disappeared. Yeah, absolutely.
So here comes Culver on the attack. Wants to get into the offensive zone, able to bring it back out as Ryan Fredrickson, the senior defensive player, able to get him into the scoring position. Let's see what they'll do here at 8:19 and counting.
Colton Fratis gets rid of it and runs over the sideline for a break. Culver's still not showing any hurry at the moment.
It's pretty much been their game plan the entire
There's that
evening.
last save.
Near side, that'll be Tommy Standfast. Vince Putnam, that long stick defenseman, able to get a quick check on Steadfast. Nice move, the dodge, and then the pass behind the cage at the X. Sueda to the outside, long shot, knocked, saved. Mulligan can't get it to go.
Good save.
Boy, great reaction time there by Luke Williams.
The first one's up top, the second one's down low. Gets them both.
That's 1 minute penalty on Royals. Eagles will be man up.
Penalty will go against Vince Putnam, so that's a 1 minute penalty. You heard the public address announcer talk about that. So now Culver will be man up right here. Chance to take the lead.
And that's huge at this stage, given how potent these opportunities have been for both teams early in the game.
Yeah, we've had 3 of them so far here tonight. Could be the second one if Culver can score here. Well, they're looking for that long shot. Nothing available. Good defense once again.
HSC's zone is a little bit different than Culver's looked earlier. They're playing almost like a 1-2-2. Just kind of clogs up the middle. Oh, the behind the back.
Oh, Chapman can't get it to go. Williams coming away with it. Boy, you got to be careful here. Williams way out of the crease, and now he's being chased.
Well, you can't say he's not bold.
Well, turnover by HSC. Culver now as we're at even strength. Coming up on 6 minutes remaining. Boy, what I was a little concerned about, Williams getting all the way out there, and you're fair game then, aren't you? Nice move to the outside. Nothing there again for Jacob Chapman.
Yeah, I think Culver sees it the same way too. I mean, they pretty quickly start going after him.
Chapman. Jenkins on him right there. Nothing that Chapman can do from that stage as he will now just continue to work to the outside left.
Again, we see from Culver that line formation. They spread out from there, but they start in that.
Ball dislodged. Eventually coming away with it, Tommy Standfast, and then he loses it again, but picked up. HSC almost forcing a turnover. Coming up on 5 minutes remaining.
It's like hockey. If you can get a stop in this situation, it feels so huge. Like there's some momentum in that.
This is a long possession, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, Culver not at this stage getting away from what has been successful so far tonight. Find an opening to the inside and the score. Tommy stands fast. Nice move down the lane, and once he was found by Tommy Scotto, the next thing you know, it's in for a 7-6 lead.
It was a great cut and a great find. He had a cut on the other side, which he chose not to throw it in that direction, and then he definitely finds Standfast, who's ready to score.
So now just 4 minutes and 32 seconds remaining. HSC with their 10th face-off win, and great save again by Latvies. Marcus Lux was looking for another goal here tonight.
Again, great crowd. They're getting into it.
When that defense chasing a little harder right here, too, for HSC, because they know that Culver, if they don't turn it over, can really waste a lot of time. Ball comes loose again. HSC will get it. Turnover, Culver. That's number 15. Well, that's a big possession right there. If you're Culver, they're unable to hold on. Here come the Royals. Pass to the inside, and the save again. Great job by Latvies as Marcus was looking for, that was the previous shot, but he was looking for another one straight away. 3.5 to go. HSC, I'm sure, would love that. They do. How about the left-hand shot and the score by Kyle Jenkins? Great shot by Jenkins. And we're tied for the third time tonight as Jenkins gets his second.
Yep, I was about to say that. And he got it in a great spot. And suddenly it's tied with 3 minutes and 20 to go.
Culver wins the face-off, number 8 of the night. They go on the attack once again. Here's Fredrickson. Well, that was a good attempt there by Sueda, but I think he ended up slipping on the shot. It'll go over to HSC.
One of the few times they've been in a hurry offensively, and it doesn't work out.
Royals have 3 minutes. Jenkins able to get rid of it. Here they come. Royals in scoring position again. We'd love to see Max Kemp come up big right here. David Gould, who both been shut out here tonight. Big defender right there, and Jack Stewart as well. As Kemp unable to find any room to go. In fact, he was picked up by Fredrickson as well. Very physical as Jenkins will fire and score again. Back-to-back Jenkins. A minute and 3 seconds after his last goal. And HSC's offense has just come alive now. They've scored 4 out of the last 5 goals, and 4 in this quarter. Now lead at 8-7 with 2:17 remaining.
Jenkins was their third leading scorer coming in tonight. He's got 3. This is their first lead since 1-0, isn't it?
First lead since 1-0. 11th face-off won. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Aspen Creek Grill. Amazing fresh food with servers who care about your service. Give them a call, 866-885-3249. Timeout, 8-7 HSC.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We consider it a privilege to have you as one of our listeners and viewers. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Looking to elevate your brand? Choose Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for all your print, signs, promo products, apparel, and mailing services. Serving Indianapolis for over 50 years. Dynamark, where strong relationships are built through exceptional service.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Wheeler Mission. They've been serving the Indianapolis community for over 131 years, providing hope, healing, and help for people in need. For more information, give them a call, 317-686-6239. Don't forget the Morales Group post-game show when we are done. And then Chris will be naming the Piper Logistics Player of the Game. We're not going to let that out of the – we're not going to let the cat out of the bag yet, but I think we kind of have an idea after – 2 big goals here recently by Kyle Jenkins. He might be at the top of the list.
Well, we got 2 minutes and 4 seconds, and the way this game has been played, you know, that feels a little bit like an eternity, especially the way these goals have gotten clumped together.
Well, HSC will run a lot of clock right here. If they get the chance to score, they will. But if not, they're going to try to hold on to it as long as they possibly can. Wands guarded there by Zagulski. A lot of movement here is David Gold. Nice behind the back pass, but then comes loose. Will HSC hold on to it? They will. So no turnover there. Ball is knocked away. Gold tried to find his teammate. Looked like that was Jenkins, and they turn it over.
Ooh. I thought HSC kind of pressed the issue a little bit there.
I do too. Timeout by Culver with 1:16 remaining.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
We have 1:16 remaining. Culver gets the timeout, and at this stage, I think the idea, if you can quickly get the score, make it 8-8, and then perhaps get another turnover, get it back. But the bottom line is you don't want to give another team the possession back with time on the clock, but then the other argument is we got to score, and if we can score quickly.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to be too picky if you're Culver. And I will say the way this game has gone, some of their coming out of a timeout possessions have been pretty strong in terms of what they've drawn up, or at least what they've executed intentionally or by accident.
Well, question is, who is your go-to guy for Culver? They've had several different players score for them tonight. So I don't know, one guy, again, Max Mulliken has not scored. He's their leading scorer. He hasn't scored, and then you look on the other side again, Gold and Kemp haven't scored either. So the main offensive players have been shut out here tonight.
Starts with stand fast, and how could you want it in anyone else's hands but stand fast?
That is him right there. Of course, he gave it up. He, along with Jacob Chapman out front, stand fast looking for an opening here, but this is going to be Mulliken. Mulliken to his left. Good defense again as he tries to dodge the defender. Back to the inside. Shot and score! Max Mulliken coming up big at 41.5.
You've said his name several times, and you're right. He's had a quiet night, but boy, did they show you who they want to have the ball in that moment, because everyone else just kind of stood around and watched, and boy, did he give them exactly what they wanted.
So we're tied at 8, still 41.5 remaining. By the way, this was a Culver team who went into 4 overtimes to beat Carmel 6-5. There's C. Williams. Royals take possession. 12th face-off one here tonight. Will they be content to take it into an overtime with only 20 seconds remaining? That is Jenkins.
I would imagine they're at least going to get one really good shot if they can. Probably don't want to give up too much of an opportunity.
Kemp fires and misses.
For Culver to get it back. And if you see that play, the reason he had so much liberty to do that is because he knew he's getting the ball back.
Here's Gold, fires, and that's a pipe shot. Oh, my. So close to winning that possession right there, and that's going to do it. End of regulation.
Getting our money's worth.
We are. We're going to go to overtime. We are tied. Take a look at this. Man, that was close.
Oh. That's the first one, I think.
So now we'll go to overtime. This will be the second OT for Culver in their last 4 games. We mentioned that win at Carmel. That was a 6-5 final there, but we have 4 minutes now. We ended up having 6 goals in that fourth quarter, but Mulliken, who had been shut out the entire contest, picks up the game tie. In fact, that's his 29th of the season, but he'd been very, very quiet. Really didn't even have that many shots on goal tonight, but none bigger than that one right there.
And like so many of these guys, Mulliken's a freshman. So we see the captains line up for a coin toss here.
By the way, I should let you know that nobody likes working with me because we do a lot of overtimes and we have a lot of 5-setters in volleyball and extra innings in baseball.
So you're the bad luck.
I'm the bad luck.
No, this is a privilege, actually. You know, how could this game end other than overtime? It's been a fun one.
All right, here we go.
So much back and forth.
Well, just got to get that first goal, then it's over. But that's not easy.
And that makes the face-off really, really important as well, to be able to control that first possession.
By the way, in the face-off department, HSC 12, Culver 8. So Hamilton Southeastern has not necessarily dominated that statistic, but they've had success there tonight. The turnover is one area I'm sure they'd love to cut down on. 19 tonight for HSC, 15 by Culver.
Those face-off numbers were closer in the first half, too, so HSC's done something different in the second half. The teams do switch sides.
All right. Face-off won by Hamilton Southeastern. Here we go.
Those lights coming on.
Well, Hamilton Southeastern will call a timeout within 9 seconds of the beginning of this overtime.
Like you said, the face-offs, they won it just like they've won it for most of the half. That's been a big difference in the game.
So now you're going to decide how you want to play this, and I would think at this stage you want to do a pretty good job of running the clock. If you find an opening someplace, you're going to take it. But tell you what, the way Jenkins has played here late, he may have the hot hand. He might be the go-to guy for sure.
Yeah, I think most importantly, you just can't turn it over.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be big. Don't want to give Culver the ball back if you can certainly prevent that from happening. And you can see them. They're drawing something up right here. They've got something in mind for sure. Oh, trying to check out the one player who is cramping up. That's going to be Dylan O'Rourke.
Great shot there from our camera folks.
He's not quite 100% coming off that stretch there either, is he? He's limping noticeably. And he's one of your better defensemen you're going to have, and you don't want to lose him. Hopefully he'll be okay here in the remaining 3:51 of our overtime. Let's see what HSC will set up here. That is Wands. Low pass and a turnover. And you just talked about that moments ago. So now Culver.
Ooh.
Boy, be careful in that pass there, huh?
Threw it right in front of the goal.
This
is confidence. Let's
yeah.
put it that way.
So now Culver looks like they're going to call a timeout as well. So what we saw a little bit ago with HSE calling a timeout to strategize, we'll go over to Culver and see what they're going to put together. If I'm not mistaken, the last time they did call a timeout, they came down, had something set up, and actually scored.
They did, and they've done that more than once in this game. And, you know, we've called Mulligan's name, both in terms of the stats that he came into tonight with, but also just kind of the quiet night that he's had. But then they put it right in his hands, you know, with the game on the line, and he delivered. So it'll be interesting to see if they go right back to him.
They're still working on the right leg of Dylan O'Rourke. He had that cramp moments ago, and they're working on it again. When he came out of that timeout, you could tell he was hurting. And they're going to need him. We talked about what he's able to do on defense as a senior, too, and the leadership that he provides for this team. He's going to have to be – he's not going to be 100%, but they're going to need as much as they can. So now the question is, what will Culver do here? Each team bringing a timeout within the first minute of this overtime.
And that's to your point about it being sudden death, too. You know, one possession can end the game.
Yep. So after the timeout, Culver on the attack. Good look here at Tommy Standfast. They're going to try to work pretty quick. Standfast once again, left-hand shot low.
And again, you see his luxury of being able to just wing that there without a great angle is just that he knows he's getting the ball back.
Ferrari. No opening there, as looked like O'Rourke is still limping a little bit, but still good enough to stay on Ferrari. As they'll work behind the cage once again at the X. This will be Standfast. The dodge and the shot and the score by Jacob Chapman. Chapman, great pass by Standfast, and the cut by Chapman scores it. And Culver comes up with a big win here tonight as they win it by a final of 9-8. It is time for the Morales Group post-game show, building better futures one story at a time. Whether you're looking to start a new career, grow your team with exceptional talent, the Morales Group is here to help you succeed. What a matchup tonight between two top 5 teams.
Really fun game. And Culver's balance ultimately wins the night as they had multiple guys score. Yeah, what a game.
Comes at 2:40 of the OT, 9-8 your final with that win. The Eagles move to 11-1 on the season. Hamilton Southeastern falling to 13-5. It's time to name the Piper Logistics Player of the Game. From warehousing to transportation, Piper Logistics delivers solutions that keep you on the move with efficiency and reliability. Piper Logistics gets the job done. So, Chris, who is the player of the game?
I'm going to go unorthodox here. So, tough to name a player from Culver's offense because they spread the ball around so much. Obviously, you could go with that last goal, but I'm going to go with back to the first half, really. Culver's goalie really kept them in good position throughout this game. Mattis Latvis, he was impressive, especially in that first half.
All right, so Mattis is your Piper Logistics player of the game. Don't forget, we have playoff action coming up on the 27th of this month. We'll have the semifinals and the finals all here on IndianaSRN from Hamilton Southeastern High School. For the entire crew, as always, great job again tonight. Thanks for being with us. In overtime, Culver gets by Hamilton Southeastern by a final of 9-8.